This is the Padua Podcast Network.
So getting more sleep can change your life. Man, I feel like Einstein when I've had 8.5 hours of sleep. Running a Fever, episode 179, 5 reasons you need more sleep. And we're walking. Household chores department. Be sure to keep up with your laundry. So I'm out walking. I was planning to go out yesterday, but didn't have anything to wear. Everything was dirty, so I had to wash clothes last night. If I'd kept up with that, then I could have been out here last night, but I wasn't. And that's okay. It was really nice last night. It's nice today. Another beautiful day. Not many. I don't see maybe a slight wisp of a cloud in the sky. It's in the high 80s. It's mid-July as I record this, and I'm out here a little earlier than I would like to be. I have going out tonight, and so got to get my walk in early if I want to get it in. But it's the middle of summer, and the harshest part of the day in terms of exposure to the sun is 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and it's right now it's about 3:15. So of course I've got sunscreen on. Be sure and check out the episode on sunburn, because I unfortunately can speak from personal experience on the dangers of sunburn, and you should, as always, learn from my mistakes. But we're loving life today. Life is good. Life is good. I don't love life because life is good. Life is good because I love my life. Please think about that. So, fitness department update. I was out for 2 or 3 weeks, mostly.
Go Navy.
Yeah. Bead Army. Wearing my Navy shirt today, so through the comment. I had the sunburn week. I had an infection. I had a couple of weeks where I was shifting my schedule, getting ready for big exams. All that's over, hopefully. The problem I'm having now is that sometimes I'm not sleeping well, and that's we're going to talk about today. I think getting exercise will help that. The problem is I usually exercise early in the morning. So I don't sleep well. That just doesn't lend itself to getting up early in the morning and going to exercise. But today, same thing happened today. Didn't sleep well last night, so, and I went to bed in the wee hours. I finally set my alarm to a later time and just decided to get up and go to work. But I'm out here now, so hopefully I'm trying to get ahead of this, and sleep well. And I've been thinking about getting a massage too, so for an upcoming episode possibly about that. The gym I go to now does have a massage therapist there, so I think that might help me. So I recognize the importance of sleep to good health, and there are several aspects to that I want to talk today. There's a lot of noise about sleep. I mean, a lot of people say, well, you need to get up early, and there's this other podcaster that goes by the name Jocko, and he's always saying, just get up earlier, get more done. And I don't think that's good advice in an absolute sense. You need sleep. to be healthy, to be productive. So, it may be good general advice for most people. I don't know. But you hear that, and you hear all the different times, how much sleep do we need, Some say 7 hours, some say 9, some say 7 to 9, some say 8. Of course, there's some scientific studies that can give us some pretty good information about this. The different ages of people, what their estimated recommended sleep, amount of sleep that you should get is, and that's changed over time. So there's some recent study that has provided some new information there. But for most adults, it's about 7 to 9 hours. So there's a lot of noise about sleep, and it's hard to sleep with so much noise. And when I hear a lot of noise about something, I really want to find a way to quiet it down. You keep hearing that sleep's important, but how much do you need, and why is it so important? Well, I just know from personal experience. I'm just going to tell you what my personal experience is. I've done a lot of different kinds of sleeping where I would just sleep 5 hours a night, and then sometimes I tried to get 9 hours or something like that. I've done some experimenting, and just based on how I feel and how productive I am and how mentally alert and effective I am, 8.5 hours, a solid 8.5 hours is the ideal amount of sleep for me. So try to aim for that, and it's difficult scheduling wise, it is, because if I'm going to work out in the morning, get up at 4:30, that means I'm going to bed at 8 o'clock p.m. So today I won't even get home until 8:30, and I probably will try to get up at 5 tomorrow. Because I have worked out once this week in the gym. Got up at 5 that day. I didn't have a full hour to work out, but I did get most of my workout in. So try to do that. What the past few weeks has taught me is, you gotta work out every day you can, because there's always going to be days when I can't. You gotta get it in while I can. So I've got 5 reasons that you need more sleep, and we'll talk about each of them. Number 1, you can live longer. Our old friend Dan Buettner wrote in his Blue Zones books about the importance of sleep and its correlation to longevity in those blue zone areas. It's also shown to be negatively correlated to some diseases that can shorten your life, like Alzheimer's disease, immunity disorders, and cancer. So that's a big incentive for me. Living long and loving life is what my goal is. To live a happy, healthy, active life up to the very end. Number 2, you can be more productive if you get enough sleep. Now, sometimes it may seem like you get more done if you forego sleep, but my experience is that I'm more productive when I get 8.5 hours of sleep a night. Of course, this is anecdotal. I'm not recommending that precise amount for everyone. The National Sleep Foundation website is a great resource. Well, I had a faster guy behind me and a slower guy in front of me, and now I got a slower guy behind me and a faster guy in front of me, so all is good. That transition took a couple of minutes. So, look at that website, and that's a great resource for determining the amount of sleep you need. So for most adults, recommend a range of 7 to 9 hours, and my own number fits right into that range. So by most adults, I'm talking about basically people from their 20s to their early 60s. The third reason you need more sleep is it can help you lose weight. Now, if you're trying to get in shape, wondering why you can't, your metabolism is messed up, sleeping is very important to that, and it has to do with, they're not sure exactly why. The less people sleep, the more they weigh. That's just basically a study of 70,000 women over 16 years, those who slept 5 hours per night were over 33% more likely to gain 33 pounds or more. Sleep can reduce the levels of hormones ghrelin and leptin, which help regulate appetite and the feeling of fullness. And I believe I've talked about those hormones before. I looked, I couldn't find the episode, but I know it's in there somewhere. 179 episodes, it's easy to lose track. But yeah, those are hormones that, and there are other ways you can sort of manipulate those hormones naturally. And one of them is that whole cheat meal concept that's why some people do kind of a 2 days on, 5 days off sort of intermittent fasting type thing, because it tricks your ghrelin and or leptin hormone levels. So those regulate the feeling of fullness and hunger and the sort of things that really affect how much you eat. Number 4, it can make you more positive. You know, a positive attitude can really change your life. This is mental health we're talking about now. People with insomnia are 10 times more likely to get depressed. And depression is 5 times more common in people like me who have sleep apnea. Of course, I am treating my sleep apnea, taking the doctor's recommendations. Even though I've lost a lot of weight, I still have that problem that's probably not going to be going away ever. But I'm taking care of it, and that helps me to avoid depression. So get your 7 to 9 hours of sleep so you can be in a better mood. Number 5, you'll have a healthier heart. Even if you have normal weight, don't smoke and exercise. Too much sleep or not enough can be bad for your heart. And this can be due to increased inflammation and blood pressure, which can be caused by too much or too little sleep. So that's why they give you a range instead of just saying get at least X amount of sleep. So you don't want to get more than 9 hours or less than 7 hours is what that range means. More can cause problems too. And I don't know if you're like me, if you've sometimes slept for long periods of time, maybe you had a really tiring week or a long night and slept in the next day for 10 or 12 hours. You feel kind of sluggish. I do. You know, how do you know? I mean, it's relatively easy for me to keep track of this. I have my fitness watch, as you know, and that actually tells me when I'm sleeping. It knows when it's attached, when it's touching my skin, it knows. It's how it gets my heart rate and all that. And based on, it has an accelerometer. So based on how much movement there is, then it determines how I'm sleeping, if I'm sleeping at all. So I get a report, and that's how I put it on. If you look at the show notes, almost every episode, I have that number, the average sleep hours over the last 7 days. And I believe it's currently about 6. You know, sometimes gets up to more than that. And of course, the fitness watch, I can usually get by for a few days just charging it while I'm in the shower, or sometimes when I'm just at home writing episodes on the computer or something like that, then or editing. I would just put it in the charger because I'm not going to be moving around a lot, and that's really what I care about during the day, is how many steps I get, how active I am. So there's no problem keeping it on all night. I don't have to charge it at night or anything. And I've had this for a few years, so very useful to have that sort of thing if you're looking at your health. And so I can easily tell how well I'm sleeping just by looking at the numbers. Helps me to, anytime you measure something, it helps you to get better at it. So getting more sleep can change your life. Man, I feel like Einstein when I've had 8.5 hours of sleep. There's just nothing that can stop me if I get enough sleep. So trust me on this, and lengthen your life by getting better sleep. Most likely more sleep than you are now. I doubt if there are many of you that are getting too much sleep. But if you are, look at that too. Speaking of the fitness watch, I've been going about 27 minutes, and I'm about to come around to Veterans Park. I can see a building. I can hear some sort of machinery, probably like landscaping equipment of some type. You know what? I love your show. I love you loving your own life. And I really need the feedback. I want to hear about you, and because you know pretty much all about me if you've been listening for a while. So there are many ways you can contact me. Of course, you need to go to runningafever.com and check out all the good things we have there. Archives of every single show I've ever done. There is that is the only place that you can get the full blog post. Don't put that in the regular show notes that you can see on your podcast app. And you can't see it on PadawAPodcastNetwork.com. Although if you go to PadawAPodcastNetwork.com, you can also see some of the great other shows that we have on the network. There's a car driving half a mile an hour. Yeah, and coming soon, we have 2 more shows being added to the network. So we're going to have a total of 6 shows by the end of the year. And you can look forward to that, and you can be right on top of it when it happens. If you go to PadawAPodcastNetwork.com. So at PadawAPodcastNetwork.com, you can also see some of my episodes, most of my episodes, not all of them, at least the ones that were published in the last few months. And if you go to the website, you can contact me by clicking on the contact page and filling out the form there. Basically send me an email. You can send me an email direct mail at runningafever.com. You can go to YouTube. My YouTube channel is easiest way to find that is runningafever.com/YouTube. At the usual slate of vehicles here in Veterans Park, just sitting here. More of them idling today than usual because it's so hot. Howdy. And you got to have the air conditioning if it's really hot. And some kids in the playground. It's a pretty nice day, kind of warm. We've had a real heat wave here in the last couple of weeks. So once you get to YouTube, you can check out the playlists. There's a best of playlist. They'll just play the most popular videos. And then there's a longevity playlist. I think you'll really enjoy the YouTube, and there are videos there you can't obviously get with your podcast app. I'm serious though, really want to hear from you. Let's make this a two-way conversation. Although I guess by definition a conversation is at least 2 ways, right? I would like to hear from at least one person in each of the 37 countries where the podcast is downloaded. And I hope you've enjoyed this episode about sleep and the ways it can benefit your health, help you live longer, healthier, happier, more active lives. Hope you already got the fever. If you don't get the fever, then go catch it. If you got the fever, keep it. And I will talk to you next time on Running a Fever.